For me, it's something I grew up with. It's the food that my parents made me since I was very young, and the food that my family has eaten at family parties, at gatherings, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so on. So it's something that I hold very close to home. I do not remember because I was probably a baby, but for many, I guess children's, the introduction to rice and soup, which would be sabaw in Tagalog, and so that's pretty nurturing to know. And then there's a lot of treats. So growing up, we had ice pops, and that was something my mom made. She would have mango, avocado, and sometimes other fruits, and we would have those in these plastics bags, and we could suck on them like popsicles. And at the same time, we would have breakfast, and it would be a Filipino breakfast of garlic rice, egg, and some kind of meat on the side. So that's always part of my life. The one that I think represents my connection to it would probably be something like, I guess garlic rice. And it's not like my favorite, and it's not the most exciting dish, but I think it's a dish that is an extra effort. Rice is a staple in a lot of Asian cuisines, but I think garlic rice is like that extra effort. Adding garlic, frying the rice, and adding it to your breakfast, even in the early morning or for lunch, is something that's just a labor of love and just making sure the food tastes better. Yes, I think that something that I was very fortunate for is that we were able to have Filipino food and have like an Asian grocery store near us. Something I noticed that was different for my family versus my cousins who grew up in more areas that had more Filipinos around them is that often they don't know how to cook their own food or Filipino cuisine because it's so accessible. So things like our breads, pandesal, cakes, and all these things is just something you would buy at a bakery. But for my family, because we don't have it near, it's something that we have to make at home, something we have to learn how to make, and a process that is a lot of effort just so we can have the food that we love. To whenever I live with my cousin, so when me and my cousin are feeling a bit homesick, I tend to cook Filipino food because it makes us feel more familiar with home. It makes us feel like we're back at home, and it's just something that's very comforting for both of us. I think I would call it something like love or comfort. I think I associate it a lot with my family and just the gatherings that we had. And many times, although my cousins may say, oh, it's tiring to have only Filipino food and no other variation, it's something that's very familiar. And when there is no Filipino food, it doesn't feel like our family